Your Highnesses, Your Excellency, distinguished guests, I'm pleased to welcome you to the 2022 edition of the Cultural Summit. It's an important meeting point here in Abu Dhabi for like-minded individuals to come and discuss the future, which is an ever-evolving part of our lifestyle when it comes to culture. And of course, the focus of my talk is going to be about Africa. With the first Muslim migration to Abyssinia, which is modern-day Ethiopia, more than 1,400 years ago, a special relationship was forged between East Africa and the Arabian Peninsula. Strengthened by geographical proximity, trade, and human interaction, the relationship between the two regions flourished, fostering cross-cultural exchange and dialogue. Today, it's clear that African and Arab nations share many cultural similarities in areas such as architecture, art, food, music, clothing, even beliefs. Throughout modern history, Arab and African nations have stood together in solidarity and partnership. And today we continue to do so because of our shared ideals and values towards humanity. And our common interest in creating, and this I think is key to what I want to talk about today, it's creating an environment that is fit for our future generations. Today, relations between Africa and the UAE continue to evolve in a positive direction. The founding father, the late Sheikh Zayed, always maintained a special affection towards the African continent. He once said to Nelson Mandela during a meeting in 1988, "You're a blessing." To which he responded, "You're the real blessing." Building on this history of strong relations, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation is participating in the restoration of the Nelson Mandela archives by contributing to the work of the Nelson Mandela Foundation, whereby the UAE Embassy in Pretoria will supervise the process in coordination with the foundation. In this period of increasing globalization, Africa no longer seems distant. And when I mean that, although our relationship mainly as the Arab Peninsula was with East Africa, now even all of sub-Saharan Africa no longer seems distant, and its countries' determination and possibilities are endless. In this period of increase, His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, the UAE President, continues to champion the legacy and vision of our founding fathers in strengthening our relationship with Africa and working towards the goal of bringing the people of Africa and the world to make it a better, more inclusive space. The African people and their governments are of great importance to the UAE leadership. At the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, we are working to strengthen the Emirati-African Partnership under His Highness Sheikh Abdullah bin Zayed Al Nahyan. Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation. But our main aim is to build and reinforce links between the African continent and the rest of the world by offering our expertise in connecting African nations with our international allies for mutual benefit. Our efforts in Africa are a key part of our vision to effect positive change and development and to improvise the well-being of African communities. Africa is the fastest growing continent in the world and has the youngest population globally, with 70% of sub-Saharan Africa under the age of 30. By the end of the century, the population of Africa is expected to constitute a third of the world's population. So why not empower African youth and communities to help them take use of their talents and innovative energies to change their continent and the wider world for better? In the UAE, entities such as Diplomacy Lab are driving a number of initiatives that support and empower women and communities in African countries by investing in their skills to provide them with a better future. These initiatives are part of a common aim to create empowered, resilient, self-sufficient, financially independent, and above all, durable communities. Recently, the UAE played host to African countries at Dubai Expo 2020, which received over 24 million visits. For the first time in the 170-year history of World Expo, each African country was finally showcased. And I say this, finally showcased, with their own pavilion to represent their countries. Why did it take so long? We're all aware of the enormous cultural richness and diversity that exists across the African continent. If being home to 1/3 of the world's languages isn't creativity, I simply don't know what is. No one can deny the great contributions to human civilization in the fields of art and culture made by Africans and the African diaspora. The novelist and winner of the Nobel Prize, for instance, for literature in 2021, Abdulrazak Qarneh, who was born in Tanzania, immediately comes to my mind. They have a very effective and influential role in the way that each and every human being on this planet lives. As a global gesture of appreciation for Africa and its cultures, UNESCO has adopted the 24th of January as the World Day for African and Afro-descendant culture, which offers us a unique and valuable chance to learn more about the treasures of African culture. And our aim is to play a crucial role in Africa's development and prosperity through partnership and cooperation with our friends in Africa. We are working in line with Priority Africa strategy at UNESCO 2022 to 2029 to foster cultural heritage and capacity development, empower local communities, especially women, to protect Africa's rich cultural heritage. Unfortunately, cultural heritage in the African continent faces many challenges, ranging from environmental threats to inter-ethnic strife. The UAE is working closely with its partners in the international community and African countries to protect African cultural heritage. The International Alliance for the Protection of Heritage in Conflict Areas, ELIF, founded by the UAE and France in 2017, is working on projects in 10 African countries to protect cultural heritage in conflict zones and in post-conflict environments. The next phase in these projects is to start documenting those elements of cultural heritage most at risk of loss. The African diaspora in the UAE has long since become part of the multicultural social fabric of our country. Almost 500,000 Africans call the UAE their home, and over 1 million African tourists visited the UAE last year. This human interaction contributes to strengthening the ties between the UAE and Africa. Later this week, we will be celebrating African culture at large at the All Africa Festival, to be held in the heart of Dubai. We have the pleasure today of enjoying the company of one of the founders of the All Africa Festival, Nina Boulataki, who is one of the reasons I feel like I could go on forever talking about you, Nina. Nina is a proud African who celebrates and promotes Africa in every field and in any place you would put her. She doesn't look at borders, she understands her commitment to Africa and the Africa diaspora, and I know that this initiative that she started a few years ago was something that she created herself and she promoted herself, and she's an excellent representative, in my opinion, my humble opinion, for what Africans are and what they are capable of. Well done, Nina. So we are inviting you all to join us to celebrate next week on the 28th onwards and enjoy the beauty, diversity, and wealth of African culture here in your home country. In addition to its interests in African art and culture, the UAE is keen to strengthen education throughout Africa in partnership with governments and other organizations. The key focus of this partnership has always been people, their well-being, their needs. Education plays an essential role in shaping the opportunities of future generations while providing them with the foundations on which to build productive lives, not only as African citizens, but as global citizens with the potential to change all of our lives. Earlier this year, the Khalifa bin Zayed and Nahyan Secondary and Technical School in Mombasa, Kenya, was awarded the title of the best school in Kenya, ranking first among more than 3,000 schools. This is an achievement I'm sure my late grandfather would have been proud of. The UAE wants to help build a strong, capable, and conflict-free Africa, and to support its drive towards growth and development. To this end, we firmly believe that dialogue, tolerance, and international cooperation are the main pathways to world peace, stability, and sustainable development. To celebrate the UAE's relationship with African nations, I'm happy to announce the launch of UAE Africa Connect. A platform that celebrates the unique partnership between the UAE and sub-Saharan Africa. It aims to further build upon the solid and enduring relationship by strengthening bilateral cooperation and capitalizing on opportunities for growth. It's a digital platform, and we're sure that it will bring the right focus and encourage awareness of the rich heritage and culture of African nations. In addition, we will be unceasing in our efforts to enable connectivity between people in sub-Saharan Africa and the UAE through joint initiatives, programs, and events covering social, economic, and cultural activities. Thank you very much.